Hello everybody, my name is Karryshh and welcome back to another recap video. Today it's our latest Indonesian horror movie, Miss K, and this one is based on a real story and it also have a convincing storyline which makes sense in the end that yes, this can happen in real life. The movie though is kinda one-time watch and some of you might enjoy the recap more. Anyway, first go follow me on Instagram cause none of you has yet and there you can talk to me anytime. Link is in the description. On top of that, if you're new to my channel, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It is free for you and it is something that helps me out a lot. And with that said, sit back and relax as I recap Miss K. Indonesian horror. So the story begins in 1998 with a girl named Maya who lived in an apartment building that felt more like a hotel. Her apartment was number 510 and lately there had been a serious water leakage in her bathroom, like it was raining inside. It seemed like a pipe had burst and Maya believed it was coming from the apartment above. Then she went to complain to the landlady, Vulan. But Vulan told her that the 6th floor is off limits. It had been shut down and no one was allowed up there. Still, she promised Maya that she will get the leak fixed. However, Maya couldn't let it go and she had to see it for herself what was going on upstairs. So obviously, Maya decides to go to the 6th floor with a flashlight. The entire floor was abandoned and it was falling apart. She eventually makes it to the apartment 610, but as soon as she steps inside, a woman's voice asks from within the bathroom, "Who's there?" Maya freezes in fear and asks back, "Who are you?" But the woman replies in a really creepy voice,
Miss K, masuk saja.
"Miss K, just come in." Then suddenly the bathroom door swings open and Maya was horrified. Sitting in the bathtub was a demonic looking woman and her daughter. The woman tells Maya, 4 days after sunset, and terrified Maya screams and ran away. Since that day, Maya moves in with her sister, Yun, and she had been seeing disturbing things. She had become convinced that once those 4 days are over and the sun goes down, she's going to die. Yun, on the other hand, thinks Maya needs psychiatric help and she was trying to get her treated. Now it was the evening of the 4th day and Maya decides to take a bath. While brushing her teeth, those same evil spirits emerge from the bathtub. The lights start flickering and when Maya turns around, they're gone, but she sees them in the water's reflection. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Yun is cooking when she hears her sister scream. She instantly rushes to the bathroom and she was horrified because her sister, Maya, has been brutally murdered and her body was dismembered. Then the scene shifts to a small restaurant owned by a woman named Alma. Her business had been really bad lately, no customers, and the workers were stressed about not getting paid in full. That same night, Alma gets terrible news. Her mother, who had been in the hospital, passed away. Alma rushes to the hospital and sees her mom's dead body, and we also meet Alma's younger sister, Mia, who's still in school. Then the scene now shifts to Alma's mother's funeral, and after all the rituals are done, we're introduced to Alma's boyfriend, Ayan. Then after the funeral, Ayan suggests that Alma and Mia should move to the city with him. Alma's restaurant isn't doing well, and staying there would only make things work. She wouldn't be able to take care of herself and Mia. On top of that, she was drowning in debt, so she really needed a good job. And after thinking it through for a few days, Alma decides to accept a job in the city as a hotel manager. And yes, it was the same hotel where those evil entities live. Alma tells Ayan about the new job, but Ayan gets a little concerned. Turns out he's a cop and his team is investigating Maya's death. He tells Alma about Maya, but from what he knows, she died at her sister's house and not at the hotel, so there's probably nothing to worry about. Still, he warns her to stay alert while working there. Then the next day, Alma and Mia move to the city. The hotel even provides them a place to stay. Once they arrive, they meet the owners of the hotel, Vulan and her husband, Ayman. After all the introductions, Wulan and Ayman show him around, and that's when we learn that floors 7 to 20 are completely shut down. The 6th floor is sealed off, and ever since the massive storms hit, only the first 5 floors are in use. Alma and Mia are given apartment 301, and now that they're settled, Alma is set to start work the next day. Later, when they're alone, Ayan tells Alma about the murder case, how Maya's body had been gruesomely dismembered, but somehow the unaliver didn't leave a single piece of evidence. What's even more disturbing is that 4 years ago, a janitor from this same hotel was murdered in almost the exact same way. But again, the murder didn't technically happen inside the hotel, and the case was never solved, and Ayan insists Alma to stay cautious. Then after Ayan leaves, Alma and Mia get into a bit of argument about their dad. We find out that their lives had always been tough. Their father abandoned the family, and their mother used to say that he was taken by a jinn, which is kind of Muslim entity. Now Alma never believed that, but Mia did, and that's what sparks the argument. Mia thinks that Alma should have married Ayan already, but Alma isn't so sure. She's scared Ayan might end up leaving her too, just like their father did. Meanwhile, Ayan is continuing his investigation into Maya's death when he gets a call and learns something new about Maya's sister Yun, who's now been admitted to a hospital. Ayan goes to visit her, and Yun is in a locked room. She was repeatedly muttering the same thing 4 days after sunset. The doctors don't know what's going on, but actually you see, Yun isn't cursed by those spirits or anything like that. She just kinda lost her mind after her sister's death. Now back at the hotel, a man named Rahim shows up to complain to Alma that his bathroom ceiling is leaking. Alma goes to check out his apartment number 511, and Rahim has a daughter as well named Preeta. But anyway, Alma sees that the bathroom is leaking badly. Rahim then tells her that Maya used to live in an apartment next to him, and her bathroom had the same issue. Maya had complained to Wulan as well, but nothing was ever fixed, and hearing Maya's name, Alma freaks out a little. Then Alma goes with Rahim to check Maya's old apartment, and the leak there was even worse. It was literally pouring like a rainstorm inside. According to Rahim, maybe a pipe burst in apartment 610 is the reason for all this, but neither of them knows that apartment 610 holds an evil secret. Alma then talks to the hotel plumber, but he refuses to go to the 6th floor because all the roads up there are sealed off, and the hotel owners Wulan and Ayman are out of town for the day. They'll be back in the morning, so the leak can be fixed until then, but Alma's frustrated because the leak was massive. Then later Mia comes into the room, and Alma grabs some plumbing tools and tells her, let's go fix it ourselves. The two sisters make their way to the 6th floor, and Mia tries to stop Alma at first, but Alma is committed to her job. She breaks open the sealed gate, and they enter the haunted area. They go into the apartment 610, and soon they hear a woman's calling from inside the bathroom. Who's there? The spirit says, and the same question is asked by the sisters, and the spirit replies in a really creepy voice.
Miss K, masuk saja.
Miss K, just come in. Then without hesitation, Alma opens the door, and the sisters were horrified to see the ghost of her mother and daughter. The woman says 4 days after sunset, and Mia screams and drags her sister out. They run back to their room, and now both of them believe that there is something evil in apartment 610. Alma decides she needs to tell Wulan, Ayman, and Ayan everything. The next day, Alma goes to work but suddenly drops a box of paper clips, and as they scatter, they arrange themselves into the number 1 on the floor by themselves, which completely freaks her out. Meanwhile, Mia has her first day at her tradition Malangan mask dance class, where dancers wear a special type of mask. Her teacher was a woman named Rini, and she immediately senses a strange energy around Mia. Then back at the hotel, Alma goes to Rahim's apartment again to check on the leak, where she notices muddy footprints on the floor. They were made by Rahim's daughter Preeta, who runs and hides the moment she sees Alma. Then Alma hears a woman's voice calling her inside the room, and thinking it's Preeta's mother, she opens the door, only to find the same evil woman again, now combing Preeta's hair, but suddenly The evil spirit rips off the child's head, and it turns out it wasn't Preeta after all, it was her evil daughter's spirit. The mother then screamed and told Alma that she will unalive her the same way, and terrified, Alma runs out screaming and she bumps into Ayan. Ayan helps calm her down and Alma tells him everything. Ayan then goes and checks Preeta's room, but it was completely empty. But soon, news of what happened to Alma spreads around the hotel like a fire, and the guests start talking about leaving. That's when Vulan and Ayman finally returned. They calm the guests down and then talk to Ayan and Alma. But by now, Ayan understood something was definitely wrong with apartment 610, and Vulan and Ayman were hiding the truth. He tells him if they don't tell the truth, he will go check the apartment himself. And that's when Vulan and Ayman finally admit that apartment 610 is really cursed. Actually, you see, 4 years ago, a mother and her daughter used to live there, and one day they both died in a car accident. Ever since that day, people have been hearing strange sounds from the apartment, and one time a janitor went inside to clean when he saw their evil spirits. Those spirits told him that they'd unalive him 4 days later after sunset, and that's exactly what happened. 4 days later, they showed up at the janitor's house and tore his body in two. The case was never solved, and after that, Vulan and Ayman got scared that the hotel might get shut down. They even called a shaman named Bangu Wangi. But the shaman was so terrified that he refused to step foot inside the apartment. According to him, the spirits were angry and would unalive anyone who entered 610 4 days later after sunset. The shaman couldn't find the reason behind this curse, and to protect the hotel, Vulan and Ayman sealed off the entire 6th floor, and for 4 years, everything stayed quiet. But now, the spirits have grown stronger again. That's why water started leaking into the apartments below. That's also why Maya died, and now the curse is on Alma and her sister Mia as well. After hearing all this, Ayan says he wants to go check apartment 610 himself, but Alma firmly tells him no. But you know how it goes in horror movies, people always do dumb stuff. So right after Alma leaves, Ayan forces Vulan and Ayman to take him up to the 6th floor. Vulan and Ayman don't go in, they stay outside while Ayan walks into the apartment 610. And of course, he's not some chosen one the spirits will spare. Soon, Miss K calls out to him from the bathroom. When he opens the door, he gets cursed by her demonic spirits too. Paranormal stuff starts happening around him and he runs out, finally accepting that everything everyone's been saying was true. Meanwhile, at dance class, Mia is practicing when her reflection in the mirror started acting strange, and within seconds, it turns completely evil. She was horrified, and then her reflection smashes its own leg, and that injury happens to Mia in real life too. She screams in pain, and suddenly the mother and daughter spirits appear right in front of her. Mia tries to escape, but her leg is broken and she was terrified. Now all of this was happening when Alma shows up to pick up Mia and hears her scream. She and teacher Rini immediately rush to help, and Mia's legs is completely broken, so they both take care of her and bandage her up. Then Rini explains that Mia has a certain kind of special energy around her. She had always felt like there was a dark presence following Mia, but that's all she can say. She cannot really help with this stuff. Instead, Rini gave the sisters the name of a shaman called Sukmo, someone who might actually be able to help him. Meanwhile, Ayan is still talking to Vulan and Ayman about the history of apartment 610. They tell him the mother's name was Nuri and her daughter's name was Nidia. They had gone home to visit family when car accident happened, and the hotel only found out about their deaths from the family. Now when Ayan asks more about the family itself, both Vulan and Ayman say that they don't remember much, which seems odd, like they're still hiding something. Later, Alma and Mia come home, and that's when Alma finds out her boyfriend is cursed too. She's obviously angry at him, but Ayan isn't really paying attention because he's too focused on uncovering the truth about that mother and daughter. That same night, the shaman Sukmo arrives to meet Alma and Mia. He talks to Ayman and Wulan first and then heads to the 6th floor. After chanting a few spells, he gives his conclusion. The mother and daughter spirits will unalive anyone who enters the apartment. Sukmo says he cannot communicate with them properly without a medium, but if they can find something the spirits deeply valued, that object could become the medium, and only then could Sukmo make contact. In other words, Alma now had to figure out the truth behind those spirits. Anyway, the next day, Alma gets a call from Mia asking her to meet by the pool. But when Alma arrives there, she was shocked to see flower petals floating in the shape of number 2 on the water. Mia is nowhere to be found, and Alma quickly calls her back and asks where she is. But Mia says she's never called her in the first place. That means the evil spirit lured Alma to the pool on purpose, and then suddenly the spirit emerges from the water and grabs Alma's leg and drags her inside. Alma struggles to survive, but the spirit fully submerges her. That's when Mia shows up by the pool and sees her sister in the water, but by then, the spirit has already possessed Alma. Now when Alma resurfaces, there's a strange mask over her face. Possessed Alma climbs out of the pool in a creepy unnatural way and starts performing the exact same traditional dance Mia's been learning. Then with a warning, she attacks Mia and jumps back into the pool with her. She tries to drown her own sister, but just in time, people nearby witness what's happening. Ayan, Ayman and Wulan rush in to help, and Ayan jumps into the water and manages to pull both sisters out. He says Mia first, but Alma is unconscious. They had to give her CPR to bring her back, but thankfully she wakes up as well. However, this whole scene confirms that something much darker is at play. Actually, you see, Mia now realized that the spirit was a Mangalan dancer. So she, Alma, and Ayan went to talk to teacher Rini. There, Rini explained that the mask was extremely ancient and significant to this dance. Each mask is unique, and all the ones she had were made by a man named Sugang who knew everything about Mangalan dance, so maybe he could help him. Sugang lived in a very old village, and before they left to meet him, Mia drew the mask that had appeared on Alma's face when she was possessed. Then that evening, Alma and Ayan head out to find Sugang's place. Eventually, the two met Sugang and showed him Mia's drawing, and he was shocked. Actually, you see, it was a mask he had personally made years ago for a special order. Then, Sugang began to share a story about a woman named Kisuma Devi, and she is the richest woman in the village. Then, Sugang even took Alma and Ayan to her house, but Kisuma Devi refused to meet anyone. Then the three talk to Kisuma Devi's handmaiden, and she tells a story that takes us back to 1986, where we met a girl named Kanti, Kisuma Devi's only daughter. She was a beautiful Mangalan dancer, and Kisuma was extremely proud of her. To make her daughter even more unforgettable, Kisuma had ordered a special dance mask that would make anyone who watched Kanti dance completely mesmerized, and with that mask, Kanti became very popular in the village. But one day, Kisuma found out that Kanti had gotten pregnant by a man from the village. Furious, she beat her and demanded that she will get an abortion, but Kanti was in love with the guy and she refused to do so. That was why Kisuma kicked her out of the house while she was still pregnant, and after that, Kanti never returned, and to this day, Kisuma still harbors hatred towards her daughter. Now, after telling this story, the handmaiden showed him some of Kanti's old belongings, and among them, Alma spotted the same dancing mask. She didn't know how exactly the mask was connected to the evil spirits, but since it was the same one that had appeared on her face during the possession, she was sure it held some answers, so she and Aya decided to take the mask back home with them. Now that night, while they were on their way back, a truck suddenly started following them and deliberately rammed into their car, causing a brutal accident. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Mia was getting anxious cause her sister still hadn't come home, and just then, someone knocked on the door. She opened it to find no one outside, but suddenly, something attacked her. A little while later, Alma wakes up injured, but Ion is still unconscious. She climbs out of the wrecked car and tries to help him, but suddenly, the evil spirit wearing the mask appears behind her. It grabs Alma by her scarf and rips her arm off and then starts strangling her. She was so terrified that it feels like her soul is leaving her body, but just then she jolts awake. It was just a nightmare. Now she finds herself inside a small hut where an old woman had rescued both her and Ion after the accident last night. She had taken care of him and now they thank her, and then her husband gives both of them a drive back to the city. Now once they're back, the first place Alma and Ion go is Sukmo's house. They give him Kanti's mask and Sukmo performs a ritual on it. During the ritual, the spirit connected to the mask links with Sukmo and he sees a terrifying vision. A brutal murder, and it turns out in apartment 610, Kanti and her daughter used to live, and both were murdered in that same hotel. That's right, those two spirits weren't actually Nuri and Nidia. The real names were Kanti and her daughter Kirani. Sukmo then wakes up and realizes that their souls won't rest until the unaliver is brought to justice. And right before dying, Kanti had screamed the name Mass, which probably means the unaliver name is Mass. So now Alma and Ion's first guess is that Mass might be the man Kanti had run away with, and now they need to find out where he is. After that, Alma, Sukmo and Ion meet up with Ayman and Wulan and they tell him everything. Ion even asks him if the mother and daughter were Kanti and Kirani, then who were Nuri and Nidia? But Wulan and Ayman say they have no idea who Kanti and Kirani are. They claim that the mother and daughter in 610 always introduce themselves as Nuri and Nidia. Anyway, in order to file proof about Kanti and Kirani, they all head to apartment 610. After all, no one had ever seen their bodies being removed from the apartment. It was possible that they're still hidden somewhere inside. Now once there, they all start searching every corner, but the bodies are nowhere to be found. Then suddenly, Alma and Ion hear Sukmo screaming. They rush over and find him passed out in the bathroom. They're still trying to figure out what happened when suddenly, Wulan and Ayman show up from behind and knock both Alma and Ion unconscious. Turns out, the real villains of the story are Wulan and Ayman. After that, when Alma and Ion regain consciousness, they find themselves tied up in separate rooms. They both start yelling, but Ion uses his feet and manages to break off a toilet seat to cut free himself. Meanwhile, outside the hotel, Ion's friend Chandra shows up looking for him since he had gone missing. Chandra talks to Wulan, but of course she lies and sends him away. Inside, Alma notices something written on the wall, 4th day, meaning she's supposed to die that evening. On the other hand, Ion uses a piece of broken ceramic to cut his hands free and then he goes and rescues Alma as well. They realize that if both of them were caught, then Mia must have been captured by Wulan and Ayman as well. Soon they hear Mia calling out. They rescue her as well, and that's when Alma and Ion finally piece everything together, that Wulan and Ayman were behind the car crash as well. But they still don't understand how the hotel owner fits into the murders. To get answers, the three of them go back to Sukmo. He was badly hurt, but he asks for Kanti's mask. Sukmo then reconnects with Kanti's spirit and asks her to show him who unalived her and how the hotel owner is involved. Then the spirit takes Sukmo into another vision, and this time the real evil truth is revealed. We see Kanti, who was in love with a man from the village named Mass. And guess what? Mass is none other than Ayman, the hotel owner. After the murders, Mass must have changed his name. He used to call Kanti Miss K in love, and eventually they eloped to the city, got married and lived in the same hotel. Their daughter Kirani had grown up by then, but Mass has changed. He became abusive and started beating Kanti. One day, Kanti caught Mass cheating on her with Wulan, and that was the day everything spiraled. Mass began beating Kanti, but when Kirani came and tried to protect her mother, Mass, in a rage, struck her with a vase, and she died instantly. Then when Mas realized what he had done, he brutally murdered Kanti as well because there was no backing out. Then the next day, Mas and Hulan left their bodies submerged in the bathtub to make them bloat. On the third day after murders, they chopped the bodies up and stuffed them into bags. And then on the fourth day, they hid the remains inside a wall. Sukmo sees all of this in the vision, and now when he wakes up, he tells Alma, Ayan and Mia the entire story. How Ayman was actually Kanti's husband and how the mother and daughter's body were tortured for 4 days before they hide him in the wall. That's why the curse lasts for 4 days, and after telling him everything, Sukmo dies from using too much spiritual energy. However, before dying, he tells them that they have to free the bodies from the wall so the spirits can be set free. Right after that, Alma, Mia and Ayan rush to free the bodies while Chandra gets a call from the station. The police had found out that Ayman was actually Mas, Kanti's husband. Chandra becomes alert, and meanwhile Alma, Mia and Ayan make it to the hotel's storeroom to grab hammers and tools. But just then, Ayman shows up and starts shooting at him. Ayan gets hit in the back, and Wulan shows up too and attacks Alma and Mia with a knife. What follows is a brutal fight. Ayan goes head to head with Ayman while Alma and Mia fight Wulan. After a long struggle, Ayan beats Ayman unconscious and the sisters manage to stab Wulan and escape. That's when Chandra arrives and tries to help Ayan, but Ayman, still not fully down, gets up and shoots Chandra right in the heart. Furious, Ayan beats Ayman again, and this time he was knocked out unconscious completely. But it was too late. Chandra ended up dying. Anyway, they cannot waste time, so Alma, Mia and Ayan return to the apartment 610 and start smashing the wall where mother and daughter's body were hidden. Soon the sun began to set fast, and they weren't able to break through in time, and as soon as it get dark, the evil spirits of Kanti and Kirani appear to end their curse. The whole place starts to shake with paranormal energy, and the spirits creep out of the bathtub, grabbing Mia and pulling her toward him. They start tearing Mia's body apart, but Alma and Ayan refuse to give up, and just before Mia could die, they finally break open the wall and pull out the remains of mother and daughter. As soon as this happens, the spirits calm down and they release Mia. The moment bodies are found, the spirits transform back to their peaceful forms, and Alma holds her sister tight. They finally survive this curse. Kanti and Kirani are finally free to take their revenge. Then the spirit vanish and head straight to the storeroom where Wulan is trying to wake up Ayman, but Kanti's spirit throws Wulan across the room and then she rips her head off from her body. Then she grabs Ayman. First both spirits tear off both his arms, then both his legs, and finally his head. Just like that, the curse is finally over and the revenge is taken. Then that night, the forensic team arrives and the remains are recovered. The long unsolved case is finally closed, and finally a few days later, everyone is seen visiting the graveyard to pay their respect to the one who died. Things seem peaceful now. Alma and Ayan even get engaged, but it's revealed at the very end that the spirits of Kanti and Kirani will forever remain in that apartment. The movie then closes by telling us that this story was based on real events. Actual murders happened in that apartment and people truly did report seeing evil spirits there. That's why the hotel was permanently shut down. So this was the recap video on the movie Miss K, and I hope you have liked this movie and the video. If you have, then please subscribe the channel and give this video a thumbs up. I really need your support to grow further. If you wanna watch this movie, there's a link to my Telegram channel in the description box. If that link does not work, just go to Telegram and put my channel's name in the search bar. I'm also mostly active on Insta, so you can follow me there as well and we can talk one-on-one. And look into my other channel where we discuss about the mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake, because they always see you.